What is up, everyone? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. I got a good one today. It's on the PlayStation 5 VR2, and I'm excited to bring it to you. I've been waiting for this for a while, but you know, I have mixed feelings and I want to bring you some ideas and some food for thought. It's going to be a little bit of different video, kind of a comparison between the old one and the new one, and some thoughts about it. So we're going to get into it. Thank you so much for tuning in to DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you never tuned into my channel before, just know I do all kinds of review videos, tutorials, anything I can get my hands on review wise. I will try. I try to do valued items, maybe items you don't see a lot of videos on, and bring that information to you. I'm just trying to help do all the research for you so you don't have to. Give it to you as easy as possible, and then leave some links in case you're interested in some of these products. So thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get into the video right away. If this is helpful, like I said, at all, give me a like or subscribe. So we have the PlayStation VR2 in the background. I was going to kind of do an unboxing, but there really isn't much in the box. I was kind of actually disappointed. I remember when I opened my original VR, there were so many things in it, all kinds of wires and cables and connections. And of course, this is a lot easier to hook up and things like that, but it just made you feel like the value was there. I remember the first one came out in 2016 and it was $399. We are in 2023 and this system will cost you $549, and it doesn't have a game or anything included. The old one did come with a demo disc. I remember that had like 8 games that you could demo right away, and some of the games were pretty detailed too. I remember, so it just kind of opened up a little bit more. I wish this system would have had some kind of demo disc in it with demoed games, or I know they do have them on the website, and I will talk about that a little bit later, but I just wish it would have felt like it was a little bit more there. We're going to jump into kind of a comparison between the two, but in the box you do get one USB to USB Type-C cable for your controllers. You're going to get 2 of these controllers, which do look fantastic. We're going to get into those. And then you'll get the headset itself right here, and then you'll also get some earbuds that will hook into your headset. So they look kind of weird, but I'll show you how they hook up and everything. You'll get in this box like some extra earbud pieces to adjust for the size of your ears, and you'll get some instructions, and really that's it. And you only get one of these charge cables for 2 controllers, which kind of is a little chintzy in my opinion. You can use your PlayStation 5 controller cable that you charge that controller. It will work on these controls as well, but I just wish they would have included 2, because I did have an issue where when I went to charge, or when I went to set up my system, one of my controllers was not charged, and I had to basically fully charge it, which takes about an hour. So that was kind of a bad experience, because I was really wanting to jump in, and it tells you you can't do it because you need to charge your controller. So, and then like I said, you only have one charge cable. So like I said, you can use your controller charge cable to charge these as well. So on these, you can already see that I'm putting the wrong hand in here. They are not marked. This is how they're supposed to look. And they do have your little cable that you can put on your wrist. I'm not going to demonstrate that for time, but these are very, very cool looking. I will give them, the design looks fantastic. It looks futuristic, and it looks very cool. So I love the design, and I like how you have 2 controllers. You have 2 virtual reality controllers that almost make up one normal PS5 controller, because you have X and circle on one, and you have triangle and square on the other. So very cool. You also have your joysticks, you have your buttons. One's going to be for your menu, and one's going to be for recording videos. You have 2 PlayStation buttons, and then you have, of course, R2, which is your trigger, L2, and then you're going to have R1s, which are the buttons on the sides here. And then in the front is where you would charge, right there. So you have your charge ports right there, and these are all plastic. Very sturdy plastic, but they are plastic. But if you were to like fall over, be careful, because like I said, they are plastic. So you can't really rely on these to break a fall or anything. But very, very cool. I think they look fantastic. They worked really, really good during the process. So, but I just want to kind of give you the look of these if you hadn't seen those before. And like I said, they almost make up one full controller. You got your PlayStation buttons there when you have them in your hands. The only thing I don't like about them, really quick, while we're talking about them, is they don't have a left or right mark. I wish they would have just put a little mark on them that said left or right. There is nothing on anywhere, especially like an embossed one. That way you could feel left or right. There's no left or right mark, and sometimes when you're picking them up, you get confused and you kind of like, oh, which hand is this going? And so you're messing around. If it just said left or right, boom, you would have no issue with that. So just something about those, but very cool. So just a comparison, this is what your old PlayStation VR Move would use, and it just had this little ball PlayStation Move. It didn't have any kind of joystick on it. They did make something later that you could use, but you really didn't need it. It had your 4 buttons, your also kind of like a PlayStation button. They called it like your Move button, but triggers and things like that. So, but you can see the redesign is much warranted and very, very cool redesign on this. Those are the controllers. Like I said, you'll get 1 charge cable, 2 controllers, and then you will get your earbuds. And here is the actual system itself. So we'll get into that right away. Very, very cool. It is kind of heavy, but it is definitely lighter. In my opinion, it feels a little bit lighter than the old system. It looks very cool. You have your 4 sensors in the front. You have nice PlayStation logos on the side here. They kind of go with that white on the bottom. Home button right here. You have kind of like a speaker or microphone port right here. It kind of looks like. And then you have your function button too that also helps you with playing VR games. You have like this rubber material that almost looks like an airport dock there, but it does work very good, and it does block out all light, makes it very dark in there. You do have an adjustment here we'll talk about, and another adjustment here button. And I really think that they kind of kept the same feeling of the old one with the headband, because it is very similar. I'll show you the difference here in a minute. Here's a little port for your earbuds, and there's your 3.5mm jack on this side. And you can see your screens and everything there, your lenses. Now you can see on the design on this cable comes straight down and it lays right on your shoulder, which I don't think is the best design, and it's something to think about. And I'll show you on the old one as well. This does have very soft material, but it's kind of a vinyl material. But I really don't think it's as soft as the old one. It might be exactly the same, but in my opinion, it just doesn't feel as soft as the old one. Here is the old one right here. But you can see the difference here. See, at least with this one, they kind of had, and it's kind of, when you had the cord out, it kind of made it go out a little bit. It wasn't like straight down like this. It kind of goes out a little bit. And so when this was, you know, it actually sticks out a little bit. So it doesn't feel like it's resting on your shoulder like it does with the new one. Also, this one did have, you can kind of see right here, this kind of texture material all over this, but over time it's broke down and it literally like flaked off. And so you can kind of see in here where that all is flaked off, and I just took it off, but it does have a nice material here. You can kind of see where there's a little bit more right there, but it is all flaked off over time with your heat and your sweat a little bit, because you do sweat in these a little bit. You know, I actually think this is a cooler material when you're wearing it, but it is very, very soft, like a spongy, almost like memory foam type material. So I think that is a little bit different on the old ones than to the new ones right there. But you can see they kind of kept the same idea with the button to stretch and the tensioner, except it's all one piece now on the new ones. The different rubber on there, I do like that on the new ones actually. But other than that, and of course on the old ones, you just had it completely covered, and there was no sensors or anything because you did use a camera from your PS4 to work with these together. But like I said, I do like this part here. It just makes it feel like there was nothing resting on your shoulder. And then also on the old ones, I do like this, which is your power, your volume, and a mute button when it had your headphone adapter there. But I like this better because on the new ones, you do not have that at all. You don't have a volume, a mute button. You actually have to go to your menu screen to do that, which is a little bit annoying, especially if you have different games have different volumes. Maybe voices sound louder than the sound or things like that. And so you kind of want to adjust the volume sometimes, and you can't unless you go out of the game and go to a quick volume adjust. So that is a little annoying. That is something to think about, because I do like how there is a volume. And then also, like I said, this cord just goes straight down. Why did they do that? I don't like that at all, because it rests on your shoulder, and you kind of want to just like knock it off your shoulder, that it's just resting on your shoulder. I don't like that. That's a negative for me. I do like all the adjustment that they put on this. Like I said, this is your band adjustment, and you can tighten it with that. You also have some adjustment on the front right there with that button to kind of tilt. And then you also have like a fine adjustment here, which opens the lenses up and closes them a little bit, kind of like a fine adjustment on its binoculars. And you can really get really good clarity with inside these with inside this headset. So I do like those adjustments, all improvements. The lenses are an improvement. The clarity, the way everything looks is definitely an improvement. On the old ones, it was kind of pixelated a little bit. These ones, yeah, it looks really fantastic. I also like, it does have a 15-foot cord that is USB Type-C, so it plugs in really easy to whatever you need. Hopefully, maybe somebody will figure a way to mod these to work with your laptop. That would work. That would be really cool to be able to use this with maybe some other technology like Steam or something like that, and be able to get into some other games to be able to use these with. So that'll be cool. But for now, it is what it is, working with the PlayStation VR2. That, let's talk about, it kind of shows you everything, how it looks, a little bit of comparison with the old ones and some of the things that I like on the old ones. Showed you the controllers. Let's talk about positives and negatives, because this is kind of some different things I want to talk about. What kind of value you're going to get with them, if any. I did not show you this real quick, but these are your earbuds. So let's get into that real quick. The earbuds are easily connected, and it does show you on the little tutorial that but they just plug right into your 3.5mm jack, and the other little piece plugs into a little hole in there, and then they kind of just hang like that. I'm not a big fan of earbuds, so I'd rather just have a pair of headphones. Some people might really love this, some people might not, but I'd rather just have a pair of headphones with this. So if you can find a kind of pair of headphones that can fit around everything, I would probably go with that, but kind of up to you. And once again, there is issues with the volume, because there's no volume adjustment anywhere on these, so you have to go into your menu and hit your volume. So hopefully they figure something out with that as well. But these do sound good, but I'm just not a big fan of earbuds. I'd rather have a pair of headphones, and I could probably hook up a pair of headphones that have some kind of volume adjustment on them too, so that way I don't have to go into my system while I'm playing and try to adjust that through a menu somewhere. Positives and negatives. I'm going to kind of mix these together, because I'll kind of go over one thing that'll be kind of a positive and a negative at the same time, so it'll be a little bit together. Positives for sure is definitely some of the upgrades to the lenses, and the quality of how everything looks absolutely stands out from the old ones. So that is absolutely a positive, that they definitely improved that. You would think in that however long it's been, 7-8 years, that technology would be better, and it absolutely is. It is also better that you don't have to use a camera with this. So the headset itself has sensors on it and everything like that, and they all work fantastic, and it worked really, really good. So definitely an improvement there. The joysticks definitely improved from the Move ones. The only thing they don't think they've improved is be careful, because I actually hit my headset a few times with these, and it's a nice little knock when you do it too. Also, you'll leave little black marks on it as well. So definitely an improvement with these. They work fantastic. I love having the full controller available within, you know, the controllers that they have now for this VR2. So definitely an improvement, and you know, I'm all down for them. So those are pretty much your basic improvements, because a lot of this is probably going to be a little bit negative for me. So let's talk about the price point at $549. The PlayStation 5 right now with the disc model is $499. So this costs more than the actual PS5 itself, which I don't think is a value at all. I remember when the original came out, it was $399, and the actual system itself was still like, you know, in the $459 or $499. So it was a little bit less than the actual console itself. Also, it came with that demo disc, which I was impressed that it came with the disc, and then you could plug it in and then, or you know, set it up in your disk drive, and you had all kinds of demo discs that you can play right away off the bat, all included. There was no searching for it and things like that. And so they really kind of had it as a package deal. It was ready to go. This one, it seems like they put it out. They do put it out in a game bundle with the Horizon Call of the Mountain, which is what they're really trying to put it out with, which is great. I'm excited about that, but that one is $600. I didn't want to spend the extra money. I was trying to get this as cheap as possible, but it still isn't cheap. The one with the game, with taxes and shipping, you know, it would have been easily into almost $650 instead of, you know, $580. So where's the value in the library for the games right now when you can pick up an Oculus 2 for $399? And it's really, really cool. It looks very, very good. It has a lot of games right now. It's wireless. You don't have to worry about feeling a wire on your back. Things like that are some of the things that I'm kind of disappointed in PlayStation VR2. If you really want to launch this and make it better than, say, the Oculus, you need to provide lots of games at launch, and actually provide games that are free at launch. That way you can really pick this up and say, oh yeah, I'm going to use this with this game right away because it's a free game, or make some of the games really reduced prices. That way you can really get into them. So I just wanted to talk about the PlayStation VR2 games right now that are out and available, and what I thought of some. I did get maybe 3 to 5 hours of playtime on the new VR2. There is some demos out there, but it is quite limited, so I wish PlayStation would provide maybe some cheaper prices, some sales, some things like this for customers that want to build their library again, that had extensive libraries with the old VR and want to upgrade their new VR2 with their new library. So there is games that have demos, but you kind of have to search for them a little bit, which you didn't quite have to do as much with the old VR, because they actually produced like VR demo discs, so you could have a bunch of games on there, all demos, and they would provide those every once in a while. So I hope they kind of go back to that. That way you can pick up these demos easily in packages and just have them available on your VR2. They do have a few games out there. There are some really good AAA titles out there, but they will cost you, and that's the problem. To build your game library back, you almost have to wait a little bit to be able to afford to do that, especially when you're shelling out, you know, the $550 for this unit. So, but just talk about a few games that I did enjoy so far that I got to demo. Was like NFL Pro Era was a great game. Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy is really cool. It looked really fantastic and it was super fun. So I am trying to look into probably getting that game, but till I can afford it, the demo was really, really fun. The Resident Evil Village demo is a great demo as well. I haven't played it yet, but I have seen, you know, videos on it and it looks fantastic. Horizon Call of the Mountain is kind of the game they try to release with this. I hope they give some kind of super discount on this game and actually just kind of release it as a game that you should pick up with the VR. And I think they should make it available to customers that have purchased the VR. I mean, if that's the game that you're releasing with it, that you really want people to check out, I think they should make it available, the full game, so you can actually have fun with the game, with the VR, and not have to pay the super prices for it. But That's just my opinion. Also, I played Drum Rock, which is a kind of a rock band game with drums. It was really fun. I did enjoy it, but it's a pretty limited demo. But there's probably a good handful of games with a demo and a couple games that have free trials that you can kind of play at the beginning of the game. On this page, it says PlayStation VR2 games. There's 62 items only, so I'm right now at this time, it's the end of February almost. There's only 62 games available for the VR2, and some of them aren't available yet. They're just like released as coming soon. So there's 62 games, but it's probably a little bit less than that when it comes to games. And some of them are really expensive. And so I just wish that PlayStation VR2 would offer, some free games and some things that you can kind of put in your library to get you started, and maybe just like one AAA game that really everybody needs to get on the VR2, and at least make it available to you at a discount or a great price. That way you can kind of feel a little bit better about spending so much money on this VR2. So kind of my opinions on that. I did enjoy the demos that some of them did have. I do hope that they make like a demo disc like they had with the older VRs with demoed games that you can just put in and it's all included and it all loads up quickly instead of have to individually go through these and find the demo. So one other thing I wanted to point out there. So I wish you could use this system with your old games. That would have made it, fantastic. That way you could still have the new system, but play old games and have a decent sized library. Right now you can't do that, and it's very disappointing. So I don't know if it's worth it right now to pick up the brand new VR2 when it's limited games. You're going to have to pay a lot to get these games. And, I wish you could use it on your old games. I don't understand why you can't. It doesn't make sense to me. It would have been really awesome. I have a pretty big library of games, but they don't work with the new VR2. And so that's just very disappointing to me. So I don't know if it's worth it right now to pick up the VR2. I think you might wait a little while. Maybe the price will come down as well. The prices of games will come down, and then you can start using some of this stuff. And especially if you already have like an Oculus, or you're still using your first PlayStation VR, I just don't know if it's very cool. It looks very cool, but there's some cheaper options out there, and the Oculus is one of them. So I think PlayStation really needs to work a little bit harder to make these available to the public, and also make them a little bit cheaper. That way people can get a little bit more interested in the VR2. But that's just my opinion. There's definitely some very cool upgrades to this. I'm excited that I have it, but I'm not excited that I need to completely build my whole VR library again. Not excited about the cord either. The cord kind of really bothers me the way it just doesn't arc back a little bit farther like the old one did. And so I really just notice it laying on my shoulder. So that kind of bothers me, especially when I'm kind of used to having like an Oculus where it's wireless. There's nothing else. You just have the controllers and the unit on your head. I think the VR needs to catch up on a few things, but they did make a very solid product that looks super cool. The controllers look, next gen, things like that. But there's still problems with content, games, prices, and that type of stuff, in my opinion. So hopefully things get a little bit cheaper, and they value the customers that go out and buy all this stuff a little bit more, and try to get us some games and content with their products, so then we can enjoy a little bit more. Those are just my opinions. Let me know what you think, and some of the extras that you want me to talk about maybe. But that's kind of where I'm at with the VR2. I think you could probably wait on the VR2, and hopefully prices go down and game prices go down, and there's some more content out there for this before you go and pick up the VR2. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have it already, and if what your experiences are, and those types of things. Thank you so much. This has been DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you enjoyed the video or got any help from this video at all, please leave me a like or subscribe, and just know that I got tons more content and videos coming. Talk to y'all later.